bill will also get passed. Pablo talked about this earlier. We bring in Philip Levine, former mayor of Miami Beach, a perhaps, shall we say, more centrist Democrat. Can President Biden get control back of his own party?
Leland, I think he needs to. And I think that what's going on right now with the progressive wing is that, God forbid, they're going to cause this $1 trillion infrastructure bill to be lost. And it's unfortunate. You know, the old expression is, why would you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater? It may not be perfect, but it's certainly something. I live on Miami Beach where we have a lot of water around us. I just finished something with the Aspen Institute that's coming here about climate change. And with $1 trillion, that can help coastal cities. That can help build better roads. That can build bridges. It's a shame that the progressive wing is going to cause this possibly not to happen.
I'm going to play a soundbite from somebody that you don't often agree with, but I think you might. Take a listen to Ted Cruz.
Whether it passes or not will depend on 50 Democrats in the Senate. Do they get Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema to go along? I can tell you Chuck Schumer is putting a world of hurt and pressure on the two of them. I hope they stand their ground, that they have demonstrated some real courage so far, standing up to the crazies in their party.
All right, that's Ted Cruz talking about standing up on the $3.5 trillion and saying enough. Do we mark this day as the day you agreed with Ted Cruz?
Well, I could say this. The one thing I will agree is that we have crazies in both parties.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think as a radical centrist, as I call myself, I think what the senator is saying is that, will the center hold? I am hoping that Senator Manchin will not vote for this, because I think this is the wrong thing for the country at this time for a variety of reasons. It's not that we don't want to help in more infrastructure and more programs and make our country green.
We just don't have the money. Yeah, we just don't have the money to do it. I guess this goes back to this point of who's really in control of the Democratic Party, because President Biden, it seems as though, is not going to be able to get anything done without this progressive wing.
Well, I think the movie hasn't played out fully yet.
Okay.
And I think that what's going to end up happening, what I hope ends up happening is that this $1 trillion infrastructure bill somehow is able to pass. Maybe they tie it together and the $1 trillion passes and the 3.5 doesn't, but it gets a fair showing. But I think the country is not going to be happy with overspending to the point where we go into an inflationary environment, as I said before, that we won't be able to recover from. It's not the right thing at this time. Remember, there's still a tremendous amount of money that's been appropriated for COVID that hasn't even been spent yet. Yeah. So why are we spending more money now?
I go back to this issue, though. You're rightly pointing about sort of the policies. I'm thinking sort of more about how the party is interacting with each other. This from the Atlantic headline: why Biden bet it all on mandates. The president's decision could cost Democrats in 2022, 2024. He doesn't care. It's a fascinating piece, but it goes back to this idea that the president is being driven by the far left of the party, not the radical centrists that he said that he was when he got elected.
Listen, I think the president wants to do something that's going to help the entire nation. And I think when he has this aggressive, passionate, left-wing progressive side pulling, and he, I believe in my heart, knows that the $1 trillion is the right way to go, I think what he's probably trying to do is navigate both sides to be able to say, let it go to a vote. It probably won't pass, but at least the $1 trillion will pass. But the reality is that I said it before.
Let me just do this in 30 seconds. How much do you worry that this fracture in the Democratic Party is going to be one that will make 2022 and 2024 impossible for Democrats?
I worry greatly because the way it's going right now, I think that's unfortunately the way it's going to go. With the crime and chaos in the cities, the unfortunate debacle we experienced in Afghanistan, the progressive pull to the party, which is not where the country's at, they could really put a situation together next year. The Democrats could suffer tremendous losses. I think that's unfortunately the movie that I hope that we don't see, but the movie that I kind of feel we may.
All right. Mayor, always good talking to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The lack of progress on